All right, man. So we got another one, man. Got another one. Exciting episode of X's and O's of Regular Joes, but I ain't even gonna say this guy's is a regular Joe, man. This guy, you might not know of him now, but get to know him. He's gonna be a household name coming up here, and he's one of the shining stars of this game. He's gonna be one of the dudes that you really gonna hear from coming up in this game. I heard from him because he was from Ohio Media School, and there's a lot of people that come out of Ohio Media School. It's a great opportunity if you want to learn to get into the game, or you want to learn the basics of shooting and production and on-air technology, and you just want to be on radio or television. That's a great place to start. But like I said, sometimes it's just different. Like, dude is just different. He reached out to me, and just his professional nature and the way he reached out to me and his hunger. He reached out about a year or so ago, and he just didn't reach out to just be like, yo, G Bush, what's up, man? How I get on? He reached out to me and was like, yo, let me show you my work. Give me some critiques. G Bush, let me show you this. And it was just like, I was just floored by the level of production, the level of energy and effort he put into his work. And with that being said, I think he got a bright future. And let me introduce my man, Earl, to the game. And how you doing today, Earl, man?
What's going on, my man G Bush? We finally done linked up, man.
We finally here. It's been a long time coming. It's not gonna be the first time, or it's not gonna be the last time we in a building together. Tell me a little bit and kind of introduce to the audience in terms of saying, how did you decide you wanted to get into radio and television, and specifically in terms of sports talk, and how did you decide that I'm going to go to Ohio Media School and start this game?
So this is, truthfully been a dream of mine since I was about 10 years old. I've always felt like that, I see sports differently. I hear sports differently. It's almost like a third eye. And, coming up, kind of just being complacent, understanding that, life consists of you working a job, not necessarily chasing your dreams. I kind of always just put it to the side. But I used to always find myself just having sports debates, talking amongst my friends, writing little fake articles once I read The Plain Dealer. And I started to notice after a while, a lot of the points that I was making, you start seeing, national broadcasters making the same point. So, the people around me started to say, like, man, you might be on to something. But what really, kind of like solidified my decision, my father passed away 3 years ago, this past April 4th. And my father had worked for Warner Enterprises for about 24 years, drove over 2 million miles, was a legend in his field. And when he passed away on the job suddenly. And it kind of sparked something different in me. I remember reading my dad's obituary. He was 56, and I had realized all the things that he had done in his life in his 56 years. And even at the end, it was tragic. It was sudden. He lived a life he can be happy with. But it changed something in me to where, okay, go chase your dreams. You have one life to live. You get one opportunity to say you at least tried to do what you love to do. And when you love to do it, this, man, this ain't work. This is a passionate gift that you get the opportunity to share with the world. And so I started concreting that decision that I'm going to Ohio Media School. And then I finally took the ultimate leap of faith. I quit my job and I just went to school full time. And I started creating my own independent content as far as podcasts and just writing articles and just learning the game, sitting back, having my ears open. And here I am, man. I'm 2 weeks away from graduation. 2 weeks exactly.
Man, that story to me it's powerful because it puts me back in your seat. It puts me back right where I was at, 10 years ago, just trying to start in the game. And it's always, something in tragedy and setbacks and things like that are what really the things that catapult us in life. Nothing happens really special in your life and move you forward in life unless there's something that happens negative. I lost my job, I lost my job and I was laid off, and I was sleeping on my mom's couch watching Bruce Drennan, and somebody called on TV and said, "Yo, how did you get in the game? How do I become a sports broadcaster like you?" He gave the number to then the Ohio Broadcasting School and Ohio Center for Broadcasting, and it was almost like God just spoke to me, like boom. He told me to get up and go, and it was like, it's crazy. Like when you hear God talk to you, it's moving, right? And
It's like the time is now.
it's like boom. And so me hearing your story, it moves me in a way, because I know for a fact, what you saying is true. Like what I know for a fact, you meant to be in the game, because when you saying it, it just moves my spirit, because most people, when they have a tragedy that sparks and they lose somebody in their life, they can either do one or two things. They can either crawl, and shrivel up and go into a closed mind state where they just, want to just, give up and don't do anything. Or some people can just go to survival mode and just put their head down and just, all right, well, I'm going to just go to work because I can't think of the pain or doing anything else. But there's a small group of people that wake up and realize, oh, this is what I was supposed to be doing. It's time for me to wake up and step into what my purpose is. And hearing that is just so powerful, man. It's just so powerful. You're 2 weeks away. What are your emotions? Being 2 weeks from graduation. What are your emotions that you feel? Is it a mixed bag of happiness, sadness? What are you feeling as you prepare for graduation?
Man, it's crazy you asked me that because it's like a small part of me that's happy. But I'm the type of person that once I check something off, I'm automatically thinking about, okay, what's next? The work don't stop, the grind don't stop. Being a good steward is over what you do is important. So it's a small section of me that's happy. But if I'm being totally honest, man, I'm scared. Scared of not really knowing what's on the other side of, how long it'll take for it to come, when it'll come. It's a little bit of fear there, but it's also a fire lit under me to, okay, that's more time to just create independent content, and just keep working hard with my head now. So it's definitely a mixed bag of emotions. Like I said, it's a little bit of happiness, a little bit of sadness because I've made some dope connections with some people that I may or may not cross paths with again, but in the same time, in the same breath, I wish them all the great success. I can tell you this, I'm 922 days. And I got some future millionaires and some future stars that's in my cohort, and I can say that confidently. So they're gonna go on and they're gonna do some amazing things. And but yeah, mixed bag of emotions, man. I'm happy to be actually accomplishing this part of it. We talked about off the record about the pie. This is only just one piece of the pie, and I've always tried to make my father and my entire family proud, and just to be the person that's a pioneer to change the game. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I for the record, I'm 726 night. So, we all kind of, anybody that went to, OMS, we kind of got that same kind of, fraternity. And, I asked that question is because there is a level of mixed emotions that come with that. And I remember being scared and excited and happy and sad all at the same time, because you were right. Some people I saw back then are working in the industry, and there's some people that are just working in regular jobs again. There's some people who I have see and keep contact with a little bit. Some people I haven't seen since I graduated, and I think it's like that for every part of your life. Same with high school, same with college, same with Ohio Media School. So, excuse me, it's so much emotions that come along with that. And I think one of the emotions that I had, if I can go back to that moment, was um the feeling of sink or swim, right? The feeling of, whew, okay, let's see how this works. Let's see how this works. But I just remember saying to myself, I believe not only that I can do it, but it's about whether or not you have that work ethic to do it, right? Because
Absolutely.
I told, when I did my documentary, I said this, the difference between good people and bad people are this. Good people sometimes aren't as successful as bad people. Why? Sometimes, to be honest with you, bad people have more conviction than good people. I always say this. Sometimes bad people have it in their mind that they want to commit a crime so heinously, and they want to do it so bad that they're going to do it by any means necessary, right? Sometimes people that are bad people really have a goal so crazy that they don't have a plan B, right? I look at some people that are rappers. Rappers, they do a tremendous job of making themselves unemployable. They do things like, all right, well, listen, I'm gonna go to a bunch of felonies. I came up, I got 8 felonies by the time I was 20 years old.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna get a bunch of face tattoos. Okay, so I'm gonna start rapping. Okay, I might not even be the best rapper in the world, but everything in my past and my physical appearance says don't give him a job. So if this don't work, like I have nothing else behind me. So it's either I'm gonna be in the streets, it's either I'm sticking people up or selling drugs, or I'm gonna rap. So you better hope to God they let me rap, or I'm gonna be a menace to society, right? You better hope they let me in the game. Listen, you better buy this record. I'm like, you're right. Listen, please go out and buy Kodak Black's next album. Please go do that. Please get Kodak's next album. We don't want any problems in Southern Florida. But for good people, we got all of this time, energy on our hands. We got all kind of stuff we can do. Well, if this doesn't work out, we got a mom and a dad. We can always lean back on that, right? Well, if this doesn't work out, I got a degree. I can always go to the real world. So if it doesn't work out, we got all kind of other contingency plans. So if the money ain't coming in, well, we can always do something in the meantime. If the refrigerator's kind of bare, well, I'm gonna put this on hold real quick, go get some ramen noodles. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna hold it down. But other people have that zero tolerance for that. There's no option for that. So they're going pedal to the metal, full tilt, everything they got to go give it. And so I think that's the difference between point A and point B sometimes. And I think if good people really sold out to the level that bad people did, I think they would get there. I think
Absolutely.
They would get there.
I agree with that.
Moving, looking to what's going on now, right? One of the great things that's great, and the reason why I love doing this series, is it gives a very clear look at what people really think. Because sometimes I think in the industry, once you get there, you start interviewing people, and they're fueled by what they've just been around. I could talk to a person and they give me the same old company line. Well, what do you think about Jadeveon Clowney? Well, Garrett, I think it's it's a low risk, high reward type move. What does that even mean, man? I brought you all the way up here. Do you tell me that move? Well, you know what I'm saying. I mean, if you look at it, I think Andrew Berry did a great job in getting Jadeveon Clowney, because it just really just shows how much of a mastermind he is and a cap wizard in analytics. That's all you got from me. You get that a lot. But when you bring up people here, they're unplugged from the system and the matrix, they can really dig down and talk about what's going on. So when we're looking at what Clowney, you mentioned something earlier about the piece of the pie and the puzzle, man. Break that down for me when you talk about Clowney and what this move means.
All right, so on the surface, most people that's just common fans that's not really looking at it from a producer of media, they're a consumer of media. They look at it and say, well, he had 0 stats last year. He only had 3 sacks the year before that. And my favorite, he always stay hurt. And so I think that they only see what's right in front of them. They don't really dig a little bit deeper and kind of like, just tear this thing apart and see, okay, he's a defensive end. He's an edge rusher. So let's break this down. What is his job? What does he do? And it's deeper than sacks. And sacks is only a small piece of the pie. You got a whole apple pie. And because the sack part, somebody didn't ate that, now just everything else about the pie is no good no more. But when you look at Jadeveon Clowney, man, what he brings is athleticism, versatility. He's a guy that from that edge, he's a dominant and exceptional run defender. And there's not too many exterior defensive linemen that are that dominant and efficient in the run game. You usually get that most from the interior guys. And what he brings is just this ability to win his one-on-one matchup when he gets that chance. The ability to beat the double team. Yeah, he didn't have 0 sacks, but he had 28 quarterback pressures in 8 games. You know what I mean? Since 2018, he's won his pass rush 25.1% of the time. This is a guy who had a 91.5 Pro Football Focus run defense grade 2 years ago. Since 2015, I talked to you about this. 81.6 is his average run defense grade Pro Football Focus since then. So he's consistent and he's clearly dominant in that area. So let's talk about the injuries, right? I looked it up. His rookie year, 2014, he played 4 games. We all know he only played 8 games last year for Tennessee. But Bush, man, the majority of his career, it's been 13 minimum of 16 games played. Now, last time I checked, the great Myles Garrett ain't played a full 16 yet. J.J. Watt that was down in Houston with him. I think he played a full 16 last season. That was the first time, right? Isn't it kind of funny that everybody in that Houston Texans organization was walking away with injuries? Will Fuller had the same hamstring injuries the whole time he was there. So I think people don't really dissect it the way that they should. They just see the sack stat and that don't impress them. And so it's like, no, he can't do nothing, man. But come on, man. You ever been to a barbecue shack that got better chicken than they got ribs? Sometimes it's just like that.
Man, listen. See, that's the way you systematically go down the line, pick people apart, and these low-hanging fruit talking points. So let me just talk about what I love the best out of that. So the great thing about this is what happens a lot when you're talking about people, when you talk about the game of football is, I think I call this the Little League syndrome. Little League syndrome is most coaching at the Little League level is done by somebody named John's dad. John's dad is the coach. What does John's dad do? Well, John's dad works construction. Did John's dad play anything? No. John's dad has not played anything. So John's dad has only watched the football thrown around, and he only watches the ball go around the screen. You ever seen that thing that says, watch the bouncing ball?
Yeah.
That's what John's dad does. He watches quarterbacks throw the ball to receivers. The only time that he watches linemen is when they get called for holding penalties. So John's dad already has a natural bias against big guys. He doesn't even watch big guys. When they go to practice, John's dad says, you guys just stand up there and do this. He thinks everybody's E Honda for Street Fighter.
Right.
Just do this. Do the 100. Tap A really, really fast. That's what you guys do up there. Guys in the general population have no clue about what linemen on the offensive side of the football do or on the defensive side of the football do. They don't know technique. They don't know pass rush. They don't know what they graded on. They don't know what schemes, or they don't know any of that. All they do is watch the football thrown, and then they're like, okay, well, forget that. That's why they butcher this in the draft. I draft a lineman every year. Well, you'd be fired. Like, you think just because you don't know what they do, it's a safe pick? Like, offensive linemen are safe. It's the safest pick in the draft. Okay. All right. You would think that, driving a car is safer than riding an airplane, wouldn't you? Because if you fall from an airplane, you're going to definitely die. But statistics show that if you're driving in a car, you're pretty much, in a little more danger. See, these are counterintuitive things. Secondly, I love the fact that you just broke down the injury thing. Myles Garrett averages 12 games a year in his career. 12. Now, of course, 6 of those were taken because he was out in suspension. But listen, we could care less. We could care less why you're out. It's the fact that you're out. If you are not playing, I can't use you. I don't care if you were hurt, suspended, or you just didn't want to play that game. Whatever the case may be, you're out. I tell people all the time, it's not about if you get hurt. It's about when.
Because you're gonna get hurt.
You gonna get hurt. Nick Chubb is probably one of the most mentally strong guys in the world. He missed a boatload of games. Odell Beckham Jr. missed a boatload of games. Wyatt Teller was out every other game, missed a boatload of games. Joe Bitonio missed games last year. If you want to go down the list of people,
Denzel Ward,
COVID-19 made the coach miss games last year in the playoffs. What are you people talking about? Denzel Ward is out every week. He's out every week, bro. This is the thing. People use these tropes in order to justify their stance on certain things. That's it. He's hurt all the time. Okay, so you want some robot. This is football. You do know that, right? It's a savage sport. You take a person and you ram it into another grown man. They're going to be injuries. So, yeah. Clowney, we can roll with. What do you make of this thing about the money issue? Why do you think so many people are so concerned about
money that ain't theirs? About Jimmy Haslam's pockets? Yes. About his pocketbook? I don't know why, man. I'm trying to understand that part of it. You know, I heard you last night when you said basically, when is the last time the Browns been in a position to not re-sign a talent that's already on this team because they ain't had that much money? I don't think Andrew Berry trying to lose a job, first and foremost. And this is the thing that blew me away. He's already set his reputation as a guy that's not going to overpay for a player, as a guy that's very aggressive, as a guy that works the trade market, as a guy that's an intelligent general manager. The fact that Clowney had 2 visits, not 1, 2 visits, that told me that both sides had some type of mutual meeting in the middle, right? That Clowney and his representative was not about to fly back to Cleveland to get $13-14 million. And so when people talk about, well, you know, $8 million is too much, or the $10 million with the incentives is too much, I ask myself, man, do you know what a superstar edge rusher make in this league? We talking about a rotational guy that got star potential, and we only paying him $10 million at max this year. Man, run it, because you're not going to get that type of production from an $8 million edge rusher all the time. That it just don't happen. The best in the game is making upwards of 17 plus. You know, so this whole narrative that the money was right, and it actually worked out for the Browns. You know, so the on the surface, high risk, high reward, low risk. Yeah, that sounds good, but like you said, man, break that open, because it's very, very low risk. $8 million for a pass rusher that wins in his pass rush more than he doesn't. That's always in the backfield. When running backs get that ball, man, Clowney is meeting you 1 or 2 yards by the time you touch the rock, and so that's what you're getting. And the beautiful thing about it is you didn't pay Tack $4 million for 1 year, a young cat that's hungry, that's looking to rejuvenate his career, coming off a rookie deal. And you got 2 guys that you can rotate in. And another point to that is, I don't know if they, like you said, the robots, they must think that Myles Garrett and Clowney and Tack is going to play every down, man. Myles Garrett, even before COVID, didn't play every snap. And if you're talking about being on the cusp of a Super Bowl, you need to have as many fresh bodies on both sides of that line as you can, because that's where the game is going to be won and lost at, in the trenches.
I can't. I think one of the things is and this is just me, and I kind of put it out there a little bit before, and I've talked about this. You know, certain Cleveland fans is, I think they're just behind the times a little bit. Sometimes, and I've noticed this. Sometimes, have you ever seen people who receive their identity from bad things happening, right? So yeah, I kind of compare this to people who say, have you ever seen a person who's a one-upper? You'll be at work or something, you may be out a couple days or whatever, and you may be really sick. You know what I'm saying? You may have had surgery, right? Yeah, man. I had surgery, and it was crazy, man. Blew my knee out. Yeah, I had surgery. I'll be back into work. You come back to work, you've been out 2 weeks. You get there, you're sitting in a meeting, everybody congratulating you, like, hey, glad to see you back at work. You're like, man, yeah, I'm glad to be back. First week was rough, man, really rough. Then you get Joe. Joe comes in, right? He gets in there. 5 minutes in, you guys talking about how rough the first week was. Joe kind of salty because Joe, ain't nobody talking about Joe right now. He like, listen, somebody got to say something about me. So he brings up, yeah, that's great, Garrett. But, let me tell you about this, man. I know, listen, I had back surgery 14 years ago, and I'll tell you what, it was nothing compared. Your knee wasn't compared to anything about my back. My back was killing me. It was your knee was peanuts compared to my back. And everybody turns around and looks at Joe and says, okay, what? Joe, like 14 years ago back, that's not even verifiable, bro. That's not, we can't go back in the time machine and verify that you even had surgery on your back. We can't even see that. And what does that have to do with this conversation? And then Jane is over there and you say, yeah, that's cool. Oh, okay, that's cool. So you start talking and Sue says, did you get the cookies I sent you? I said, man, Sue, these cookies that you sent me, those really made me feel great. Week 2 really made me feel great, Sue. Thank you. Jane says, those cookies, yeah, they look good. We saw the picture in the team chat, right? We saw those pictures, right? But those have nothing on my grandma's cookies. If you would have ate my grandmother's cookies, you would have never liked her cook. You're like, what the heck is going on here, bro? Like, we don't know your grandma. We can't verify your grandma had good cookies. Like, and why are you being a one-upper? Why are you trying to one-up something to give yourself this verifiable imaginary crown? It's like, it's one of the worst people in the world. Like, it's terrible. Browns fans have now got to the point where it's like our identity has become steeped in being the worst. So it's like we don't want to give it away, kind of. Like, we've been known as, ooh, we're bad. We have the worst coaches. Our quarterbacks suck. We have the jersey with all the quarterbacks' names down the back. The mistake on the leg. We've been screwed over by all these people and are terrible. And now that we actually good, it's almost as if some people are holding on to the last vestiges of negativity. So they're just like, well, we can't just be all the way happy about all these great players, so we have to bemoan the last people that come in. They aren't part of the team. Odell Beckham and Clowney aren't really part of us. You're like,
he didn't want us last year.
He didn't want us. And Odell Beckham wears those shields and clown shoes. Is he trying to call us clowns? You're like, come on. You guys are reaching.
And it's funny. Last year, towards the end of the season, going into the playoffs, you had people talking about, man, Odell ain't tweeting about his team. Odell ain't shouting out the Browns. Man, if it was me and it was my team, I'll be on Twitter every day. And it's like, man, come on. Clowney didn't want us last year. And so, well, I want players that want us. But listen, last year, man, the Browns were still an organization that needed to prove themselves to pending free agents. The Browns were not a franchise yet that had some success that showed that they were headed in the right direction. This season is different. We've proven ourselves that we're gonna be here for a while. That wasn't no one-trick pony type thing. It wasn't no fluke. We here now. And looking at Clowney's situation last year, he knew Mike Vrabel. I mean, he spent the first 4 or 5 years of his career with Mike Vrabel. He had a very good relationship with him. And Tennessee is a franchise that has had some success. So, yeah, Cleveland might have offered me a couple $1 million more, but I don't know what I'm getting from Cleveland right now. They got a rookie head coach. At all. They got a GM, a rookie GM.
Titans had just been to the AFC Championship.
Just been there. And the head coach is a guy that used to be my defensive coordinator.
What are we talking about here?
So it's like when people say, well, he didn't want us, I mean, it made sense for him to go there. Did it work out? No. But you know what? It came full circle because here it is. Now he's here. Now he's healthy. Cleveland Clinic that had their hands on him. He's fully recovered. And we got him for less money than what we would have paid for him last year. and he's hungry. You said about what was it about a month ago? Give me a humble and hungry Jadeveon Clowney, and that's what we got. That's what we got.
We got a couple humble and hungry guys.
Yeah.
See, for me, I'm looking around. See, here's the thing. I'll tell you this, man, and I can give it to you. I can tell you my experience better. I could tell it to anybody, because this is the great part about having adversity hit you. I done had 13 surgeries. 13, and I've had, and I continually have surgery. I have 3 herniated discs in my neck right now that are inoperable. I've had back surgery. I've had 2 ACLs, one on my left knee, one on my right knee. I've had surgery on my big toe. I've had surgery on my calf. I've had so many surgeries, it's crazy. Like it's a gambit of things. One of the things that happens when you have surgery, it shows you your mortality. Right? When you're young, I came into and got to college. You couldn't tell me nothing. Like, you could tell me nothing. Like, I was like, yo, I came in and I would race defensive backs. I'm like, yo, I'm faster than you. I just feel like I'm faster than you. I would just be like, yo, I'm just nice. That makes you not work as hard as you can when you feel like you have God-given ability, right? By the time I got to be 24 and I realized that, okay, I need to work, like, because it hit me, right? When I had my second ACL surgery, when I was a redshirt freshman, I was a redshirt sophomore when I had my second ACL surgery, right? I'm going to tell you this. I cried not because it hurt that bad. I cried like a child because I knew what that meant. You could tear one ACL. I know what the statistics look like. You tear one ACL and you can do your thing. You tear 2 ACLs, you looking at the workforce. You looking at the workforce, dog, because you ain't competing with people at your school. You competing with people everywhere. Like, these guys have 18 months of training on you. 18. You just trying to walk. You 9 months. You 9 months from having a torn ACL on your right knee. You just trying to learn how to walk on that one again. And now you got another one you got to rehab for another 9 months. You know what kind of talent you got to have to, it don't matter, because the people who ain't as talented as you is catching you because they got 9 to 18 months of training. It's just not, that's what it looked like. It's one of the most humbling things in the world. And so when you look at people like a Malik Jackson, when you look at a Tack McKinley, when you look at a Jadeveon Clowney, when you look at a Grant Delpit, when you look at a Greedy Williams, when you look at a Denzel Ward, right? When you look at a Chubb, right? When you look at a Mac Wilson, right? When you look at, even I'm going to go with a Sheldon Richardson, 9. We keep counting. You say, well, what does this list represent, Garrett? This list represent the 9 people I said. Hollywood Higgins, 10. This list represents everybody that's fighting to put food on the table. Every single one of them people is either coming off an injury, has a cap number that's crazy, or probably won't be on this team if they don't have a crazy year. And I didn't even say anything about Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham.
Yeah, we didn't even touch that yet.
We didn't even touch them. So these dudes got 1 year. These is 1 year deal guys. So these dudes is like, I got to do something. Do you know what kind of production everybody, that's 12 guys. They know they got to play. They know they have to put numbers. And you got to think, and 2 or 3 of them, they need to have contract years. Chubb got to have a crazy year. And I ain't even say nothing about Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, we didn't even
touched him.
So it's in total probably about 16 guys that this year is a make or break moving forward. And it's beautiful that Andrew Berry has actually set it up this way. You know what I mean? Because it's like, people forget this part. The cap was projected to be $30 million higher than what it ended up being, right?
Yep.
And thankfully, as people are getting vaccinated and the world is starting to open back up, the NFL is planning on operating at 100% capacity next year. So What does that mean? That means that the cap is going to actually hit its projected mark. And our front office has been out ahead of that this entire time. So you continuously signing guys to these one-year deals, these prove-it deals. They're getting their money up front. So that money's coming off the books. And it puts you in a better cap situation for everybody else who's worried about Jimmy Haslam's pockets down the road. He's not strapping this in to where we can't make the necessary moves that we got to make. And what's beautiful about it is that if these guys don't produce, if they underperform, we're not handicapped with that contract. We're not handicapped with these long 4 or 5 year deals. We talk about Chubb. Chubb is great. He's what you want and a football player on and off the field. But Chubb also plays running back, and that's just the reality of it, and he plays running back in a scheme that shows that, somebody else might be able to. I mean, we seen Dearness Johnson step in Dallas, and what did he do? He secured a victory with the first down run, so
he had 100 yards. And
we ain't even throw Wyatt Teller in there. He's another one.
He's looking mad. Wyatt Teller is rated the top guard in the game. He was rated the highest lineman at a 92.9.
I got a big bold prediction. We won't resign him. And I'm gonna break it down why. We seen Hand step in when he got hurt. We seen Nick Harris step over there and play guard too. And we all know who was our offensive line coach, Bill Callahan, right? So when these guys stepped in, when Teller was down, and even when Bentonio was down, the Browns didn't miss a beat on offense. In fact, as a collective group, they finished number 1 in Pro Football Focus in the run in the pass. So even when Wyatt Teller, the number 1 rated interior guard in the NFL, went down, we had backups that really just came off the practice squad, step in, and they performed exceptionally well. So next year you got guys like Ward, Chubb, Baker, Wyatt Teller, just to name a few, that you're going to have to make a decision as far as contracts on, right? We all know that eventually you can't pay everybody. So what if a guy like Wyatt Davis from Ohio State falls in round 2? You know what I mean? Or he's there at the top of round 3. Now you're talking about a situation to where in this scheme, on this offensive line, with that offensive line coach, you're plugging in a guy and you saving you some dollars on the back end to where you got to take care. You hope that you have to take care of Baker. Let me just say it that way. You hope that, because if you have to take care of Baker, that means Baker has taken care of Baker. Baker has done his job. You know what I mean? And those are the things that I think that people have to start looking at. Look at the system. Look at that offensive line. There are guys that has proven that they can step in. I mean, Nick Harris had never played guard a day in his life. He stepped over there when he was needed, and he balled out. I mean, he won his matchup. It seemed like every play.
I got a bold prediction. This may suck. I got a bold prediction. My bold prediction is they're going to cut J.C. Tretter. J.C. Tretter's getting cut. I'm not going to say when. J.C. Tretter's, I think he's already 32.
Yeah.
And if it's not J.C. Tretter, if it comes down to either Joe Bitonio or Wyatt Teller, they may ask Joe Bitonio to take a pay cut. Now, here's the thing. Does Nick Harris, doesn't he play center?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, yes, a wrap. Yeah, all right, then. Listen, all right, then, because I thought he played center. And the reason why I feel they were going to do that was because when they slid him to guard, I said, oh, okay, he plays center, and they want to keep him on. They kept him. See, because you keep guys that are versatile. It's hard to keep a guy that just say, oh, I only play center, and then you can't slide anywhere else. When they slid him around and he did his thing, I said, oh, it's a matter of time. It's over. So it's a matter of time. And Tretter just got his contract. They took care of him and got him a little signing bonus, a little money, and they took care of him during the year. He's already 32. I mean, he's going to get the Alex Mack treatment. Here's another bold prediction. And for me, I do not think it is a done deal that Denzel Ward gets taken care of. I don't think it's a done deal. I don't think Denzel Ward is automatically going to get a contract. And this is the reason why I say not automatically. I love Denzel Ward. Okay, I don't say I love him. I like him a lot. Mm-hmm. When he came in his rookie year, I was like, look, Denzel Ward is that next thing. Because Denzel Ward showed a level of awareness I hadn't seen in a while. He was looking like Deion Sanders that first year he was playing. He was leaving his zone, jumping routes in other people's zone. When I seen him play against the Steelers that first game, I said, this dude is crazy.
Yeah, I was at that game. And to see it in person, it was crazy.
He's jumping routes. He's not even supposed to be in that zone. He just baited Ben Roethlisberger. This was a 5,000-yard pass in Ben Roethlisberger with Antonio Brown and all them boys. He was jumping routes back then. That next year he came back, oh, he was bad. That next year, I was like, listen, he fell all the way off. The thing I got a problem with Denzel Ward is this. He is a porcelain doll. This man be hurt. He's not as porcelain as Greedy Williams, but he's porcelain. Now here's the thing. He's good enough to command. If Troy Hill got all that,
Troy got 24, right?
Troy Hill got 20. Denzel Ward in the open market is good enough to get top 5 corner money. He's better than Lattimore. He's better than Sherman. He's better than all them guys that got all that money this year. All of them. Yeah. Here's how I know this will signify whether or not the Browns will keep him or not. If they go draft a corner in that first round, if they draft a corner, I'm going to be looking like this.
GBUSH, I think that's where they're going. I mean, you seen the article, right? You know, I already think the Browns ain't staying at 26.
Woo!
You know, and who's sitting at 12? Andrew Berry's old friends in Philadelphia, right?
Philly. Mm-hmm.
So if you look at how the draft has been set up, I think the first 3 teams have put themselves in situations to where they're going to draft their quarterback of the future. Atlanta, we really don't know what they're going to do. If they take a Jamar Chase or a Kyle Pitts, who knows? But they might sit there and they might draft their quarterback and move on from Matt Ryan next year. So you're looking down this list, man, and we ain't even talked about the talented offensive lineman that's coming out. But you got all these pass catchers and all these quarterbacks that's projected to go top 9. And so that tells me that by the time picks 10 through 12 roll around, the Browns possibly can have their pick of the litter from the top available corner to top available edge rusher, linebacker. You know what I mean? So it's like, we know for a fact that Joe Woods and crew, they love these DBs. You know, they love DBs. And if you get to pick 10 or 11 and Surtain and Farley and Newsome is still sitting there on the board, now you're like, wait a minute, I got 2 3s and I got 2 4s. I really don't need all this draft capital.
I like the kid from VTech too. I've been watching him late. I like the way he played the ball.
Yeah, I do too.
He played the ball really well. He a little on the short side to me. I like Surtain because he's a little more physical, but I like his ball skills though. I like his ball skills a lot. And like you said, if you're gonna get you a first round corner, Denzel Ward is on the clock. He has to have a Pro Bowl year. He gotta be locked down. He can't be hurt. He got to have production too. He has to be locked down. Simple as that.
Absolutely.
Simple as that.
You know, people talk about, again, Clowney and his injuries and things like that, but they forget, man, Denzel, he struggled in that department. You know, I give him some props from last season. You know, he did play through some injuries before he had this situation to where he couldn't. And you seen him, you know, he took a step back at year 2, but you seen him kind of get it back a little bit.
He got that.
And you just want to see him stay healthy, you know what I'm saying, to learn how to tackle properly and things like that. You know, Surtain, as you talked about it, man, it's funny because, you know, Joe Hayden is one of the Browns corners that I always go back to as far as a guy that's physical and finesse. Mm-hmm. You know, Joe Hayden could tackle. Yeah. He could put you on the ground. And so I like a corner that I know can wrap you up, you know, and ain't afraid to put his body on you.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't know what the situation is with Greedy with the nerve injury. Denzel going to have to come get locked down because, man, you talking about what, 40, 45 for him, you know, and Lord knows if Jair Alexander up in Green Bay get a deal before him, then it's going to really look like, okay.
Yeah, listen, that's the problem. See, this is the way the market break. That's how it worked. Because right now, if you look at it, see, back in the day, when Revis was setting the market, so you had Asamoah and Revis setting what the market was. So you knew if you had Revis and Asamoah, everything else below, you couldn't just jump out the roof and be like, well, I want this. No. Are you close to Revis? No. Well, you was tier 2. Now ain't really nobody like, oh, you locked down. It ain't really like that. So if there's guys that somebody overpay for, and Denzel Ward is sitting there like, you mean you gave him that? Oh, I'm good. I'm about to get all this money. And the Browns are sitting there like, oh, man. And then you got, and see, here's the thing. When you go to Chubb, when you look at Nick Chubb is looking like this. I'm at least getting what Derrick Henry's getting. I'm at least getting Derrick Henry money. At least. He's at least getting Derrick Henry money. Because if you look at it, and I can't even knock him, he's like pound for pound, skill for skill.
I'm right there.
I'm even, and I can't even lie with him. Like there's
what other argument he can make? You think about the running backs that got paid last year. Henry got paid, Kamara got paid, Dalvin Cook got paid, McCaffrey got paid. The only one who didn't exceed expectations was McCaffrey because McCaffrey got hurt.
Yeah.
But I mean, Kamara balled.
He balled last year too.
You know,
crazy.
Henry had 2K. You know, Dalvin Cook was leading the league in rushing for most of the year. So if Nick Chubb is going to make this argument, you know what? I need my 16 million.
and he like, look, and I missed a boatload of games.
Yeah.
And I got hurt and came back. Listen, he gonna say, I had a knee injury. And this is just funny. This is how durable I am. I had a knee injury and came back and didn't miss no steps.
None.
And I'm gonna throw back. I listen, I'm out here looking crazy. Nick Chubb is the only dude I know that play with no. He like, man, Nick Chubb is the guy you get on Madden that's a rookie that come in like an 83 but don't have no gloves on. Like no gloves.
You go in and you edit his equipment so you can look dope on the field when you go play with him. Yeah, I know exactly what you took. I kid you not. I run franchise mode with the Browns all the time. And I go put a towel on them. I change the gloves from white to orange, you know, to get them just to give them some little.
Come on, man.
Different type of vibe. You know what I mean?
You come in here look like an old head. You got finger tape on. We don't wear that around here. Go to the equipment room, bro.
Throwback.
You ain't got no spat on. Get him that black spat. Come on. Hey, trainer, get that man together. He come in here at 83. You run around. We gonna get you some touches, young boy. You running around.
I think that, you know, when we seen Barry extend Hunt for 2 years last off season, it should have told people who really pay attention a lot. I think because Nick Chubb is phenomenal, and like I said, the personality, the attitude, the work ethic, the things that he brings along with his production on the field, that's what you want. But at the same time, and in the same breath, you play running back, and for as good as he is, there's a reason why Kareem Hunt is your third down back. It's the versatility. It's the catching out the backfield. But more importantly than that, it's the blitz pickup. You know, we've seen Kareem Hunt put a helmet on linebackers more often than not. And those are the things that, you know, he might have that edge on Chubb. And a lot of people don't like having this conversation because they love Chubb so much. And I get it. You know, but if it comes down to it, I'm going to ask you what I've asked my friends. Do you look at Nick Chubb and do you see Adrian Peterson 2.0?
No, come on, man. Let's see that's no, come on, man. See, this is hard. No, like, come on, man. Listen. No, this AP. Like,
right.
Adrian Peterson, like, I don't want to keep going back to Madden, but AP is a 98 speed. This 98, 99. This
99 strength.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson was returning punts and kickoffs. Yeah. What are you talking about?
So when I ask that, I tell people, if he's not Adrian Peterson, man, he can be replaced. And that's no shade. And that's no shade at Chubb at all.
But here's what I will say. This is hard. The Cleveland Browns, man. So if you ask me, see, because Kareem Hunt is, if he got all the touches, Kareem Hunt 1,400 easy.
Easily.
He's 1,400 easy. Like, so that ain't nothing to slouch at. And if you ask me, Kareem Hunt might be harder to tackle than Nick Chubb, because Kareem Hunt runs extremely hard. Like, he's just a one cut, boom, hard. Nick Chubb, stiff arm is just like, okay, you're not gonna tackle me, right?
Right.
But Nick Chubb got deceiving speed. Like, he got deceiving breakaway speed, which is kind of ridiculous because I didn't know he had it like that. They both got different games. I'll say this. Together in a tandem, neither one of them is, I would say, unstoppable by themselves, right? Neither one of them are Adrian Peterson like by themselves, right? You got certain backs that you will watch them play and you'd be like, oh, you're not stopping this dude. It's only a matter of time before he's going to get his. But together, as a tandem, there's nothing you can do about it. Deployed correctly, Chubb and Hunt deployed correctly in that offense with that offensive line is a bona fide nightmare. If I'm a defensive lineman, there is nothing you can do. The Cleveland Browns should never punt on fourth down, ever. The way they're together, I would tell them, if I was the coach, if I was them, I would say, look, corners, whatever you may have, tell Nick Chubb, we're gonna pay him. We're not going to pay him crazy money, but we need both of them. If it means somewhere up front, somebody ain't got to go get paid, so be it. If it means somewhere around here, that brings me to my point. The problem is somewhere down the line is either going to be Jarvis or Odell Beckham or wherever the case may be, of how they get that money. That's where the money comes from.
I think so.
That's where the money comes from, because you're right. You can't pay all of them. So who do you go to? Odell getting 14.5, Jarvis getting 12.5. That's a lot in receivers. And you know, we've already talked about we can't pay everybody up front. And so if it comes down to those two, I mean, what are you going to do? What's your idea?
If it came down to those two, and I've had this conversation, I'm gonna try to extend Jarvis, for probably a year or two, and then cut that base salary down to give you some more money on the back end. I don't think both of those guys are gonna be here, past next season. Just my opinion. But Jarvis was the guy that started the culture change here. Jarvis is the guy that seems to be a true emotional leader on his team. And not only that, man, he leads by example. His play, his grit, his Iron Man ability, it shows up. He's the guy that seems to keep everybody in line. He's the guy that, like I said, he changed the culture. And I don't think that the Browns organization wants to lose that. Odell is a special talent, very, very skilled, very talented individual. But the truth of the matter is, man, we seen Kevin Stefanski in Minnesota be offensive coordinator with two wide receivers. And I don't think either one of them was first round. Well, we know Thielen was undrafted free agent.
Yep. And
Diggs was not somebody that coming out of the draft that you sought and said, okay, he's going to be a bona fide star. But what happened? They both ended up with 1,000 yards in the same season. Now you look at the Browns situation now, you won't be able to pay them both. But, looking at Donovan Peoples-Jones, the yards per catch was crazy last year when he had those opportunities. He was over 21 with that. And then you look at the rare combination of size and speed and the ability to go high point the football and come down with it, to be able to have that balance with his body. They're looking at this situation, okay, he's on his way to at least being a number 2, maybe a number 1 option, you know, in the next season or 2. So I think that if they had to come down to it, man, I'm gonna roll with Jarvis and just let Odell play. And the beauty of it is, man, they don't owe Odell no guaranteed money after the season. And see, this a lot of people, you know, a lot of people don't dig below the surface and understand the small details, man. You know, after this season, it ain't gonna really cost them much money. They got more flexibility to rock with this however they want. Because the true story is, Peoples-Jones is really the only wide receiver that they got under control.
Yeah, after this year, because you know Hollywood is on a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
You know, Jarvis and Odell, they're guaranteed. See, a lot of people don't even understand. Even after you sign a major mega deal, the first 2 years is the only thing that you usually get in guaranteed money. There's probably 4 or 5 guys in the league overall that have more than three years guaranteed. Other than that, it ain't guaranteed. So let me ask you this. So this is the conundrum we are in. So say for instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
You come out now, you know, Baker Mayfield comes out and they come out like game busters, right? Odell Beckham goes crazy. He gets 1600 this year. Put up crazy numbers, right? 1600. Like Baker Mayfield and him look like they really clicking. Browns is crazy, right? Jarvis Landry, he put up numbers. Jarvis Landry looked like 1200. Clicking. They're like, man, this thing looking great. Browns are awesome. They're like, listen, bar none, Baker Mayfield we're giving him his money. Is it still a thing where it's like, okay, well, now this is exactly what this is what we were wanting to see. Everybody was like, hold on, there's no chemistry, and then all of a sudden the chemistry hits. It's there. Where are we going with this? Like, what do we do? Like, are we re-examining? Are we like, how does that work? Because now here's my only thing, because I've done this too. I've already naturally assumed in my head that we just gonna get rid of one of them, right?
Yeah.
Here's my thing. If both of them put up crazy numbers and the Browns are winning, I don't know how that works when you got those two guys with that big of a personality and you just got rid of their best friend after they put up one of the best years that they've ever had. I don't know how you sell that. I don't know how you do it, either or. Like, if you know, and I assume that Odell Beckham is the guy to go, right? But I'm trying to figure out what's the amount of yardage that you can safely get rid of Odell Beckham Jr. without no issues, right?
Without no smoke,
right? Because after a certain amount of yards, it's like, yeah, we can't. We kind of got to eat that contract. He get 1,600. It's like, whoa. Jarvis Landry is like, hey, bro, you can't get rid of my dog. He got 1,600. He leading it, and you got to think he get 1,600. The cameras is popping in.
Oh yeah,
they got, you know, now they doing celebrations. He dancing again.
Week 13 have been flexed.
Yeah, we they flexed every game. You know, you got Tony Romo on every week. Good gracious. Yeah. What is your thought process on? Is there an issue now? Is Stefanski going to have to kind of figure out, like, is it a thing where, hey, we do got a lot of talent, but like, how we getting these guys to rock?
Well, I think it's a good problem to have, definitely. You know, since I have this much talent and that much potential to go on, but Stefanski doesn't seem to me to where he's really too concerned about somebody's individual play. You know, they individual stats and things like that, as far as making sure this guy gets to rock and that guy gets to rock. I think, honestly, we might not even be faced with that situation. I honestly believe that a lot of people has bought into this system. If you remember last year, Odell Beckham said, you know, I play in the system and I play on the team to where, you know, I might not be 1,000-yard receiver every year, and that's okay, but we're going to win. You see what I'm saying? And so, but let's say the production numbers is through the roof like that. It does cause for us to come back and have another conversation about, okay, You know, you don't want to take weapons away from a quarterback that you about to drop over $40 million to. You don't want to do that, you know. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you're in a cap situation so that you can always retool this thing for the next 10 to 15 years. And, you know, you're not taking major steps back. Jarvis and Odell is boys. And let's say it works out to where they both ball out, man, and it looks beautiful. I can really see them hollering at each other and say, you know what? I like this. I like this playing together. You know, we done made our money. We winning. Let's take a few dollars off this way here so we can have some sustained success so we can win more Super Bowls. And I think that's the culture that's being created from Andrew Berry on down. And I think that when you seen them on the field last year, you know, there was games to where Odell's stats didn't shine and he didn't complain. You know, he was excited about the block that he threw, the spring Chubb for the touchdown and things like that. And so I look at it like it could be a situation to where, one, they can come together and decide to take less money. But I also see it as the way this thing is being built, people want to be a part of this for a while. And if he can come out and have some chemistry with Baker, which I personally believe that he do, this nonsense that you're cutting a talented wide receiver and trying to chase a Super Bowl in the same breath don't make sense to me. So
yeah, I think one of the things that they can do is they can work it out. I think, and the way football works is this. It works out. The football gods always work it out because that's the way that's why people love football. There ain't no, as much as we argue and go back and forth, people get vindicated all the time. I can say whatever I want to you about football. And the great thing about football is you can't justify nothing. Like, I was very critical of Baker Mayfield in the beginning parts of the season. You know, people would get mad at me because I was critical of Baker Mayfield. But here's the thing. I get mad at Baker Mayfield, and I bring this up all the time. If you're going to be mad at Jadeveon Clowney and you want to be critical of him saying, well, he's the number one pick, he ain't got no stats. Well, I'm going to say, listen, well, if you going to be that critical of Jadeveon Clowney, you're going to be critical of Myles Garrett. If you that critical of number one picks, I'm going right to Baker Mayfield and say, well, listen, and you getting the most money. Yeah. You getting the guarantee bag. You are the face of the franchise. You got all the commercials. If you think I'm about to let you slide, you're not. Because ain't nobody else on the team sliding. OBJ don't slide. The coach don't slide. The owner don't slide. All these people that I'm mentioning, Nick Chubb, none of these people slide. They're held accountable in the papers. They're held accountable in a court of public opinion. But we give this guy credit for weather. Listen, I can't, like, you know, that's the thing about football. Everybody play under the same weather. I can say as a defense, I can say it as an offensive guard. Well, you know what? I slipped on that play. Ain't a fan ever gave no excuse for slipping of a receiver. I slipped on that play, and the quarterback threw with anticipation, and he threw an interception. You can't go back to the statistician and say, well, that was on me, I fell. It says interception, quarterback. You can't, period, point blank. They don't have asterisks for wind or thunderstorms, or the kicker missed because it was 30-mile-an-hour winds. They just have he missed the field goal to lose the game. Bottom line is this: everybody is held to account for one reason or the other. So when you looking at it, and I want to wrap it up on kind of a thought process of where the Cleveland Browns, after the Clowney move, going into the draft, right? Let's kind of talk about two things here to kind of wrap it up. Let's talk about after the Clowney move. We kind of touched on the draft a little bit, but where do you believe the Clowney move really sets the Browns at in a pecking order of the AFC? See, because for me, I've started to do this myself. I've started to say I'm no longer just limiting myself to the AFC North. I think we do ourselves a disservice to only holding ourselves account for 4 or 3 other teams. And that's good that we want to beat the Ravens and Steelers, but I'm a firm believer that, you know, the Bills are out there. I think the Colts are going to be good this year. There's the Miami Dolphins are a team that was 10-6 last year. I think the Chargers may be better this year. There's a lot of teams out there that are going to be competing. The Titans are still there. So there's some teams out there that the Browns are going to have to continue to be better than. Where do you see the Browns in terms of that mix of teams in the AFC to getting, obviously the Chiefs, to getting to where we want to go?
I think the Browns are sitting right there as a top 4 team in the AFC. You know, until they're dethroned as AFC champions, the Kansas City Chiefs sit right there. But I say that with also saying that when the last time you've seen the team playing 3 straight Super Bowls, okay, and then you got the Buffalo Bills, who got a quarterback at the same draft class that we got, who has added talent on offense, who's added talent on defense. McDermott has gotten better as a coach every single year. They're right there in the mix. They were right there on the cusp of being in the Super Bowl last year. So, you know, they've had that humility before honor. The Colts, man, the Colts defense is one hell of a defense. They're built very, very solid. You got Carson Wentz back with a coach that he's very familiar with, which I still think Carson Wentz has some talent, by the way. And then, you know, they got the weapons right there on offense, and then you have us. The Cleveland Browns offense stacks up, you know, player for player, pound for pound with Kansas City, with Buffalo, and with the Colts. And you might argue that out of those 4 teams, our offense might be a little bit better than all of them. And so adding Clowney, you know, and the other 5 pieces that we've added on the defensive side of the ball, plus getting the guys back that we had hurt, the Browns had the best hurt team, you know, in the NFL last year. And so getting those guys back from injury, along with the guys that we signed in free agency, it puts us right there. It puts us right there to be in the thick of things, you know, when the cows come calling. And so that's something that's exciting. That's something that I'm looking forward to. I've already told people, you know, and this is way too early before the draft and actually seeing how the schedule goes, but I can see a Browns versus Bills AFC championship this year. I can legit see that, you know, because there are other teams. Like you said, the Chargers is on the rise. The Dolphins is on the rise. I mean, I look in our own division and a team that is really getting slept on in Cincinnati, man. Cincinnati go add another wide receiver to that offense. They're going to be more scary than what people can imagine them to be. So, but looking at us and our situation, I say we top 4. I think we right there. And I'm gonna say it right here now on 415 on your show. Browns Bills Super Bowl. Browns Bills AFC Championship.
Browns Bills AFC Championship game. That's a barn burner. I'm gonna tell you what, man. I need that game to be at First Energy.
Oh, for sure.
I need that game to.
You ever been to a Browns Bills game?
Man, I have been to the Browns Bills like pregame joint, but I've not been to a Browns Bills game in the stadium.
I went to the Thursday night game. This is when Josh Gordon was still here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I went to that Thursday night game, and everybody know, man, Cleveland Browns fans are some of the best fans in the world, man. We travel hard. But if you get an opportunity to go down there and you go to the Browns games every week, you know, you start to see the different cities, team that's coming in and they fan base walking around in their jerseys. Now, when Buffalo came into town, I had never in my life seen nothing like that in the city of Cleveland. I couldn't believe.
They take over. Listen, they
take over, man. And so I'm sitting there, we watching the game, and I'm in the 500s, and I got a row full of Buffalo Bills fans in front of me, and man, they just going crazy, and it's a fun atmosphere. So yeah, I'm with you. Browns Bills, man, I need that here at First Energy Stadium.
I need the Browns with home field advantage.
Yeah.
I need that home field advantage. You're going to have to come down here, and it's cold, and it's going to be it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
And you're going to have the wind hitting you, and it's 35-mile-an-hour winds
swirling in the middle of the
stadium. And we're going to be running the ball with that two-headed monster and all these linemen and 16 tight ends on the field. And you're going to be salty. And you're going to be trying to drop back. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, if the Kansas City Chiefs don't start running this football, I'm telling you, if you don't start running this football, man, look, that might get you together. And don't get it twisted. The Chiefs is cold. But listen, you can't, this ain't Madden. You can't come
Todd
back
Bowles
out here.
showed you something.
He showed you a lot.
He showed you a lot.
Showed you a lot. Listen, hey, I got Kelsey. I got 3 dudes on Kelsey looking at him, bracketed. Go ahead. Go ahead, do that. Listen, go ahead. And we got ends now. We got ends upfield doing a thing, running around after Patrick Mahomes. Listen, you're not running away from the Cleveland Browns. You're not running away. You're not. And we got DBs now. And we got 96 safeties. Man, I'm just excited, man.
I'm excited.
Man, listen, we about to be out here. Look, it's crazy. Listen, and here's the thing. People don't understand this, too. People forget. See, they be messing around and forget what we be doing. See, y'all forget. Last year, we had 23 back there. I don't even want to say his name. 23 is an equipment manager this year. 23 is in the workforce or working on passing out sandwiches at halftime, making sure people stay hydrated. He's with our equipment staff. 23 is like a GA. He ain't doing nothing for us this year. He is not playing safety, getting torched. Carl Joseph is back in Oakland or wherever he is. Money Mitch is not on this squad no more. See, what you got to understand is, so if we get a lead, you're not about to be marching up and down the field. And when we get the ball back, we on that, you know what kind of fourth quarter time we on. It's that Cleveland Brown 8-minute clock game. They be like, dang.
Yeah. For the first 8 plays, give it to Chubb. Next 8 plays, give it to Hunt.
Dang, he got the ball back again.
Yeah.
Man, you get on my nerves, man.
Yeah.
All y'all do is run. You can't pass. No, we don't want to pass. Run.
Like you said, man, we ain't got 23 back there. We got 43 back there now.
We ain't got so if you get down, if you down 2 scores, chalk it up. We running out.
We down 2 scores.
9-minute offense, bro. They like, oh my gosh. They just keep running.
Man, I'm excited to see those 3 guys roaming the field at the same time, man, because you know with all 3, Harrison, Delpit, and John Johnson III, man, you got guys that's gonna be playing up in the box and guys that's dropping back over top. You're gonna have 2 in the box, 1 over top, 2 over top, 1 in the box. And these is DBs and the offensive coordinators is gonna be scratching their head like, okay, I really don't know what's coming. You know, and for us to always have struggled to cover the tight end, I don't think we're gonna have to worry about that too much now.
You're not having Taki running down the middle with Mark Andrews no more.
Yeah, cool. That's over with.
All that read option stuff, all that read.
Yeah.
Listen. All that's dead.
It's over with.
Like, come on, man. Like, I used to be so mad watching this stuff. Like, come on, man. You got to do something. Like, Lamar Jackson blatantly just dropping back, being like, 1,000, 2,000. I'm looking for a receiver. No, I'm not. I'm not looking for anything. I'm just waiting for you to turn your back so I can run.
No, anything is possible no more. I mean, none of that, man. None of that. So
it's just, you know, the whole situation with these guys is, you know, I think we got something cooking, man. I think we really are in a place where, for once, the Cleveland Browns, there is equal talent, equal or better talent for everybody on that schedule, for everybody. And we couldn't have said that before. So now it's all about, are they going to be up to play every game? Are they going to bring the intensity? Is they going to bring the effort? Is they going to bring that energy, that swag, and the want to every single game? And if they do, they'll be in every single game, because that's what it's coming down to. That's what it's going to come down to in terms of that.
And if they don't, I'm not even sure if they'll be here, because Stefanski done already put his mark on here. You know, you will play hard or you won't play.
Yeah.
So
they got the stamp on it. It's a stamp on it. And I think I think that everybody has to live to that standard, and I think they know what they're coming here to do. And it's going to be a great year, man. Earl, man, I really appreciate it, man. This was like talking to an old friend, man. This is like great vibe, man. And it's just, this is not going to be the last time we talk, man. Tell everybody where they can get your material, so I can put a link up so they can watch this. Where can everybody catch your material at, and where can everybody get your podcast, your website, and the stuff in the content that you're putting out?
Absolutely. So you see me right here, Landmade. That's the name of my company, Landmade Entertainment. You can find my blogs and a link to my podcast, the 6 a.m. Tailgate of Cleveland Browns podcast. All of that is on my website, www.landmadellc.com. That's, again, www.landmadellc.com. Click on there. You'll see all my blog work. You can click on a link that'll take you directly to my podcast. My podcast is also available on Spotify, Apple, and I'm also part of the Coffee Club podcast, which you can find on Spotify and Apple as well. Soon you'll be able to get the Landmade t-shirts and hoodies. GBUSH, I definitely got one of these for you. So yeah, that's how you can find me on Instagram, 216_Pearl. I'm on Twitter at pppearl216. Yeah, that's it. That's how they can find me. How they can find what I got going on, man.
Man, listen, man. And we gonna say this, man. This young brother is out here doing his thing. I'm a big fan, of what he do. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of the stuff he's putting out, and this is just for everybody out there, man. And this is a testament of what you can do when you just work. Just put the work in, man. And things will happen. This brother, he reached out to me, and I just say, yo, I gotta, any way I could be of any help to you, bro. Anyway, because I'm such a fan of what he do. And this guy he's next up, man. He's next up. He's gonna be, I'm gonna see him on these microphones. I'm gonna see him on that TV. I'm gonna see him doing his thing. Shout out to him and his movement. And this is just what the barbershop wants to do. A lot of times people is out there talking about, it's all about, it's about starting a dialogue. It's all about the dialogue. No, it's not about the dialogue. If you interested in moving the progress along, and you want to do something to help minorities, if you want to do something to bring about change, you got to give opportunities to bring change. What are you doing besides talk? Talk is rhetoric. It's about bringing change. What are you doing? Are you posting somebody? Is you joining people's podcasts? What are you doing? Is you retweeting their stuff? It's about going out here and actively doing it. I encourage every single radio station, every single media station, every single publication. How many minorities is you looking at? How many people, resumes that come across your desk? Is you giving them an opportunity? Is you bringing them in there for interviews? Or how many people you bringing them in there? Because it's not about me trying to call people out and make you feel bad. It's about saying, it's not about the conversation. It's about, what are you doing to give people an opportunity to show what they got? If it wasn't for Andy Roth giving me an opportunity, I wouldn't have been here, right? And I salute him every time I get an opportunity. He's a white guy, a Jewish white guy, as a matter of fact, right? Every time I talk about something, I give him his credit because he gave me an opportunity to do something. Now, he did his part, and I want him to continue to do his part. And I'm going to implore him to continue to do his part. It's just one of me. I need two of me. I need three of me. I want four of me. But I'm asking other companies, other radio stations, other places, you got to do your part, and I'm going to do my part. So that's how we move things forward. And I'm going to congratulate this young brother. I'm going to see him on top. I appreciate you again for coming on.
Absolutely, man.
All right, man. All right. We'll catch you next time on X and O's with the regular Joes. GBUSH in the building. We'll salute you guys. We'll catch you next time.